Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our daily get-together live here on Facebook. Today is September 15. We begin celebrating Mexican independence. We start today, we end tomorrow morning. You're probably wondered, whatever happened to tequila in headlines? Well, we are going to have tequila in headlines this afternoon. We'll have details in a little while. But first, let me just welcome everybody to today's broadcast of Coffee and Headlines. As you know, this is our daily live broadcast, 10:30 in the morning, here on Facebook every single day of the week, where we exchange news, comments, headlines, suggestions. Why is my built-in microphone on? Now, I only have the good microphone on. Yay. Suggestions on how to have a better, wonderful life here in Puerto Vallarta as an English-speaking community. It is always a pleasure to see people that we know and appreciate and are getting to know better. Yes, today is that one day in which we all cry Viva Mexico with lots of enthusiasm, but Viva Mexico with enthusiasm because we are growing independent from what, who, when, and where. We'll get into all those details this afternoon. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of the Mexican Independence Day. But before we go there, we're going to have some interesting news this morning, including a song that I cannot get out of my head. How many notes does it take for us to remember the melody of a song or to identify the melody of a song? You know, for example, you get Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, you only need four, dun, 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 four notes, dun, 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 and everybody knows that one. So, but there are other songs out there and about that you don't need that many notes to identify the song. This morning, I woke up thinking about this one song. I wonder if you've heard it before. It goes something like this. Da, 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 da. Have you heard that before? That was 5 notes. Da, 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 da. 5 notes. Does that sound familiar? Have you heard that song? Do you know anything about that song? In fact, it seems to be everywhere. What do I mean by that? Well, let me find my little itty bitty thing. Here we go. Check this out.
George Washington Bridge.
George Washington Bridge? I mean, could this possibly be a United States patriotic song? What is that? We'll come back to that in a second. But first, let me say hello to everybody. That's going to be the tune for today. Karen Miller says good morning. So does Sherry Cooper. Linda, as always, with us from Yakima. Michael getting closer to moving here. Lisa is at the Malecon. Angelica, buenos dias, watching from Canada. All kinds of nice people. Kathleen Naomi Atkins says, Ohayo gozaimasu. I respond, arigato gozaimashita, which is probably the nice thing to say, and I bow. Anyhow, who else is here? Yes, Taco Chronicles Volume 2, and it is absolutely wonderful, I hear. I recommend that everybody watch this. Um, Hola Maria from Idaho. This is great. Tomorrow is your birthday. Happy birthday. This is wonderful. Happy birthday. Um, my goodness, lots of great people. Anyhow, we might as well. Oh. Ray Duval says that song. That song is called Tequila. I wonder about that. I don't know. We'll get back to that song in a second. But first, let us take a quick look at our news because we have all things to talk about. Or should we talk about? No, yeah, let's talk about the news first. We'll talk about tequila and headlines in a second. Boom. So, yes, today is Independence Day, or Independence Day celebrations begin today. Traditionally, what goes on, excuse me, is that our governors, our leaders, our mayor, our governor of the state, mayors in their cities all over the country, the president of Mexico from the National Palace in Mexico City, they all make an appearance at midnight today in which they celebrate the beginning of our independence. Of course, all over the country, there's going to be next to nothing when it comes to celebrations. In the case of the president of our country, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, will pop out and make a very basic celebration in the Zócalo in Mexico City. There's going to be a torch that he's calling it the Torch of Hope. There is going to be the lighting of this torch, and there's going to be some fireworks for us to enjoy. But the expectation is that we enjoy this from home. In years past, the expectation of our governments is that people go out and celebrate our independence. This year, the expectation is that we stay home. Puerto Vallarta will not have a celebration outdoors. There will be no mariachi or formal parade tomorrow morning. And it is important to comment on this. Even Lopez-Gatell is saying Mexicans stay home, don't go out, don't celebrate the Mexican independence. We know here that the celebration in Puerto Vallarta is going to be virtual. This is our mayor, probably from last year, standing at the balcony of City Hall here in Puerto Vallarta. But this year, the expectation is that we watch from home and that we stay put. Now, is it going to be fun to sit at midnight and watch Mexican independence on television? For some, it may be. For others, it may not. Does this mean that you should discourage the notion, or you should not consider going out to one of the many restaurants that are celebrating Mexican independence today? And a lot of restaurants are opening. Chris at Hotel Mercurio is going to have a Mexican fiesta later on today. And I'm going to be broadcasting tequila and headlines from that fiesta today at 6 o'clock. So should we go? Should we not go? Here's my personal advice. If you decide to go out and celebrate Mexican independence today, go out thinking that you're going out to a restaurant like any other day. You know, if you would be going out any other day to a restaurant or a venue that you love and trust, absolutely go out and be enthusiastic. Be mindful of the usual safe distance guidelines and just keep that in mind. Other than that, if you are looking to go out as an excuse to go out, like a lot of my peers, Mexican folk, usually do, it would probably be a better idea to stay home. Let us be mindful of the fact, for example, that we are now on the seventh consecutive week in which Hugo Lopez-Gatell is reminding us that the tendency for the virus is in Mexico is that it is decreasing. So needless to say, Hugo Lopez-Gatell and other government officials are very concerned about the virus taking a wrong turn during these celebrations. So just be mindful of that. Let me take a quick look at your comments. Before we go on with our show. What is that song? I have it in my head and I can't get rid of it. Ray says that the song is called Tequila. I am not so sure. Um, this is good to hear, Lynn. Thank you very much for sharing that. Um, Wayne Wilson is watching live. Usually watches on YouTube. It's great to see you, Wayne. The big difference between YouTube and watching here is that this here um, we get to have fun together. No, it is not the Blue Danube Waltz. Paul comments on AMLO's Grita will be buy a raffle tickets for the presidential plane, and we'll get to a little commentary on the presidential plane in a little while, and I will talk about what this is about. Jeannie asks, "Are there tickets available for Tequila headlines tonight?" There is. It is not a ticketed event. Um, no, it is not a ticketed event, but once you get to the hotel, you will be expected to buy your booze and buy your tacos and so forth and so on. Kathleen has the tune in her head all day, and Nina says it's a waltz. The man on the flying trapeze. Nope, 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 all wrong. Nope, it's not circus music, and it's not somewhere my love. Somewhere my love. Da 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 da. No, that's another one. Isn't that Lara's theme? Anyhow, we'll get to the song in a second. No, 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 it's not Somewhere My Love, Joe. I'm going to play it again just because I can.
George Washington Bridge.
George Washington Bridge. In 1894, Mexican composer Juventino Rosas was born in Santa Cruz in the state of Guanajuato, and he is the composer of a song called Sobre las Olas, or Over the Waves, considered among the most popular, memorable Latin American songs, and it was composed here in Mexico. Sobre las Olas. It's been featured in movies, it's been featured in circus acts, it's been featured everywhere, but it is a song that is proudly made in Mexico. Viva Mexico. Yes. So that's my Viva Mexico contribution for the day. There you have it, completely out of order, but what do I care? It's a good day to have things out of order because we're celebrating Mexican independence. And moving on to other news, I want to let you know that while we were watching other things, there's apparently this brand new vertical park in downtown Puerto Vallarta along Matamoros Street. I haven't even seen it, but apparently this is being built, or it's almost finished, or will be finished shortly. Which shows you how often I get out and about in that part of town. It will feature over 100 steps, and this is what it looks like. And of course, this gives me pause and curiosity to go and take photographs to see what this is about, so that we can all see where exactly this is in its stage of completion. I believe this is right next to the restaurant. What's the name of the restaurant? Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm having a pothead moment. Barcelona Tapas. I believe this might be right next to Barcelona Tapas. I could be mistaken, but I'm definitely going to go out and explore this to see what this is all about. There's also this headline that talks about the progressive opening of nightlife in Puerto Vallarta. I was out and about not even 4 nights ago, late at night, and I could see that indeed all the bars and all the venues are pretty much operating as they usually do. So what this means to COVID and what this means to our feelings about that whole thing is a mystery. I mean, we all have divided opinions about how much or how little the city should be opening, but the fact is the city is opening, and that's the way it is. Another landslide, this one now on the main highway in the section that we call the curves as you're driving back from Puerto Vallarta, from Guadalajara to Puerto Vallarta. Another landslide that paused traffic along the main highway for 5 hours. This particular article focuses on some person that was coming for an overnight vacation and ended up not even being able to enjoy it, um, simply because this is pretty much the only way to get in and out of our city. And this situation highlights the importance of having to finish the new highway sometime in the near future, we hope. But again, as we mentioned a couple of days ago, we saw that the president said, well, this has to be done before my election, before my presidential period is over, and that will continue for another 3 years. We don't know exactly how, when this is going to be resolved. But in the meantime, as long as we're in the rain season, we are going to be having these kinds of circumstances present a challenge for people moving in and out of the city. And now for this business of the presidential plane. The presidential plane has been one of the biggest headaches for this presidential period because it was purchased 2 presidents ago, and it was primarily used by our previous president, and it is this very luxurious plane with swanky indoor accommodations, as opposed to outdoor accommodations in the plane. Think about what you just said, Paco. People are going to laugh. Anyhow, this plane has been a headache for the current presidential period for Andrés Manuel López Obrador, because he says this is a perfect symbol of Mexican excess and corruption. I'm not going to use it. In fact, we're going to raffle it. So for a while, we didn't even know if this was a real raffle or a symbolic raffle. Now, why would Mexico as a country raffle a plane? Well, apparently the country went out and about trying to sell it for some time, and nobody seemed to be interested in buying this luxurious plane, and it remained on the market for quite some time. Don't know if actually the plane is something that is easy to sell or not. But what we do know is that simply by having it parked without use, it generates an expense for Mexico, because there are all kinds of maintenance issues that are related with the plane. And of course, this national lottery takes place today, because today we celebrate Mexican independence. It's an overnight celebration. It starts today and ends tomorrow, which makes it really, really complicated. And let me make a pause because I want to share this comment with you. Yesterday, I stopped by Hotel Mercurio in the afternoon, where I realized that Sharon and her husband so kindly bought me a present. They were in Guadalajara this past weekend, and they brought me a Mexican face mask, which I'm going to break in this afternoon at Hotel Mercurio. And I found out that they stayed and they met my friend Paul, and they enjoyed the nachos that we've been talking about. So yay, thank you very much, Sharon. And it's so great when one closes these kinds of circles. Anyhow, back to the presidential plane. There's been all these tickets available for 500 pesos each. And there are prizes that you can win that are the equivalent to 2,000 million pesos that will be shared among 100 winners. And that's exactly what's going on with the plane. The plane has been criticized by many as something that the president is distracting people with. What will actually happen with the plane is a big mystery to me, because what do you do with a plane that nobody wants to use, and nobody wants to buy? That's a big question. Let me take a quick look at your comments before we move forward. Oh, another confusion. It is not Lara's theme. That's a different one, and I can play Lara's theme some other day. And yes, I see your comments about Barcelona Tapas being involved with the creation of that park. This is a good excuse to go out and have a conversation with Barcelona owner Bill Carvalho, so we can find out more about this project, particularly if it is sponsored by Bill in any way, shape, or form. William went and Googled this. Good for you. Do I know the manufacturer of the president's plane? I think it's a Boeing something. it's been reported in many news items, but I think it's a Boeing something or other. I don't know exactly the specific information. Which website am I using for my headlines? My screen is too small to see. Which screen am I using for my which website am I using for my headlines? I'm using. You mean when I show the headlines from the newspaper? I use just my web browser. I include the URLs for all the headlines in the show notes so that you can enjoy them in whichever way is best, most convenient for you after the show is over. Tia, 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 tia. Let's see, where do I buy a raffle ticket? Great question for Jaime. Apparently, tickets have been selling like hot potatoes. Is that the expression? Like hot potatoes here in Puerto Vallarta. From what I hear, they're not easy to find locally, and there's that answer to that question. It's a Dreamliner by Boeing. Um, can a U.S. citizen win the plane? I could use a plane. Steve, I don't think it's even going to be the plane that we get. And in fact, there were some wonderful memes that were produced when our president announced the sale of the plane, in which they would show a big Boeing plane parked in people's driveways, which makes absolutely no sense. So, you know, the event is going to happen. There's going to be a raffle. People are going to win money. And what happens to the actual plane? Well, the actual plane will continue to create a drainage of funds for Mexico until they figure out what to do with it. Susan Amani says, oh no, I don't have a driveway. Well, my driveway is being occupied by my car, which I cannot move because I killed it. So I can totally relate to that. With that thought in mind, let me get over to the weather. Did I set up the weather today? Yes, I did. It is 28 degrees Celsius, feels like 34. It is 82 degrees Fahrenheit. We have a very high percentage of humidity, 97%, and a 7% chance of precipitation for this moment. Some random hillbillies are saying climate change is a hoax. Maybe the expert scientists were wrong all along. I have no comment on that. Actually, I saw that bit of news yesterday about that huge glacier that detached. That was pretty alarming, but that's too complicated to get into here. And I'm sure that there are lots of sources of information for that, as there are a lot of places where you can actually enjoy a close look at Chris Evans's penis. So we are not going to go there either. I will tell you that we're expecting to have rain during the evening today, and tomorrow we're going to get rain and humidity through the day, and on Thursday we're also going to expect rain and humidity during the day. Now, I am beginning to wonder how often and how frequently you want to hear about all these new lords and ladies in Mexico. On the one hand, I am very careful and mindful of the fact that shaming people online is not a nice thing to do. But then the way it's handled here in Mexico, it's kind of like, you know, it's almost funny. It's not supposed to be funny, but in case you're wondering, who was it? Lady Sidewalk, who stepped on somebody's sidewalk that was being paved, has been found, and she's being sued by the city for ruining the city's work, and she will be expected to pay for that. And of course, there's a new lady aggressiveness, who tried to sneak into the line at a bakery, and some other lady said to her, well, this is why Mexico's the way it is. And Lady Aggressive got all upset, and she started beating the shit out of the other woman. And of course, in typical Mexican tradition, it was all captured on tape, and we will know the identity of this woman by tomorrow. She will lose her job the next day, and it'll be all horrible, and we'll be laughing about the next lords and ladies that come into the picture. But if at any point in time you find this business of lords and ladies unkind or otherwise not interesting or tedious, just let me know, and I'll think of other things to feature. Boom, 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 boom. Going back to the headlines, Tenet is not making as much money as people wanted it to make in the United States. because people are not so sure that they want to go to the movies, and I'm not so sure that I want to go to the movies, but I'm almost sure that I want to go to the movies. And Tenet opens in Puerto Vallarta tomorrow, which is very weird because we usually get new openings at the end of the week. They get new movies started on Friday, but of course, Cinepolis probably realizes that tomorrow being a holiday, they stand a small chance that more people will want to go see the movie tomorrow. I may actually venture to see Tenet tomorrow if I get to convince my pal Logan to accompany me as we take new steps to enjoy the new normal. And speaking of, I want to share with you also the fact that I took another step into the new normal. Up till now, I have been limiting my dining out experiences to either outdoor restaurants or restaurants that are very, very open, that have a lot of ventilation. And the only two exceptions that I've made to that personally imposed guideline were or have been Siam cuisine, which I've spoken about repeatedly because number one, it's a wonderful restaurant. Number two, I've seen Michael sit at his restaurant and I've seen the dedication with which he personally single handedly disinfects menu after menu while people are sitting. I mean, the work that he and his staff put forth to make sure that you feel comfortable in this air conditioned environment is amazing. And yesterday, for the first time, I went to another air conditioned restaurant, and this was Seasons PV. I used to go to Seasons quite frequently, and I've always loved their food. Yesterday, I had a lunch dinner to attend to, and I figured, well, let's go here. It's warm outside, and it feels like a good choice to make. And I was not at all concerned, and I was very happy to eat there. So it's my personal recommendation if you're looking for a place where you can enjoy an air conditioned experience dining out. I felt quite comfortable and well taken care of yesterday for lunch at Seasons PV. If you've had similar experiences that you want to share with us about restaurants where you've enjoyed yourself, that may seem a little bit frightening to others and you want to share, by all means, please let us know. Let me, before, is this it? Yes, this is it. Let me, before I forget, tell you about what's going on this afternoon. Hotel Mercurio starts their fiesta at 3 o'clock. So I am going to be at Hotel Mercurio's fiesta starting at 3 o'clock, just videotaping segments of what's going on so that at 6 o'clock, we can go live with Tequila and Headlines. And live with Tequila and Headlines will include more specific information about what goes on a traditional Mexican Independence Day celebration. So this will be our very own Coffee and Headlines version, or at least an explanation of it. I am going to be joined by the wonderful Eileen to the left, otherwise known as Rosa Melano. She will make a Mexican fiesta statement along with me. And if you happen to be out and about and you want to stop by Hotel Mercurio and you feel comfortable with that, you're more than welcome to attend. I know that Paul has hired a live mariachi band and there's going to be some competitions. And yes, there's going to be a guaco competition. That whole business. And the event is also going to be hosted by Angie Starr. So again, the event goes out from 3 to 9. And I will be broadcasting from Hotel Mercurio at 6 p.m. live. There's already a pre-announcement for that broadcast, and I will include it again in the show notes after today is over. Let me very quickly take a look at your final comments to make sure that we are all on the same page. Sherry can't afford the gas for the plane. I'm sorry to hear that. When is the raffle? Asks Christine. The raffle is this afternoon. Great idea, Jaime. Steve says you might be able to live in the presidential plane. You know, there are, if you Google plane conversions, there are excellent YouTube videos of people that have repurposed old planes and have been living in them. Jonathan loves Lords and Ladies. Thank you. This is good to know. Thank you for the comment, Randall. I'm so glad that you're enjoying Coffee and Headlines. Um, we are sending rain, at least spiritual rain and emotional rain, to all the places that have been affected. Angelica asks, is the new highway to Guadalajara going south? If you mean that literally, yes. If you mean that figuratively, yes. Let me explain. In the literal sense, there has been this planning of some kind of mountain overpass that totally bypasses Puerto Vallarta. We have yet to see the plans of this because it gets out of Puerto Vallarta and essentially goes through the mountains, bypassing the whole thing. We also know to the fact that the highway after El Tuito, which is the head of the municipality south of Puerto Vallarta, to what is it called? To Playa, no, oh gosh. South of Cabo Corrientes is Vista Alegre, what is it called? Costa Alegre. Costa Alegre. We know that that highway has also been expanded or is in the process of being expanded to a 4-lane highway. So these things are supposed to happen literally at some point, Angelica, although there have been no specific announcements to that effect. Now, is the new highway going south figuratively? Yes, it is, because we've been told for years and years and years that it was going to be ready by the end of the year. And again, President Lopez Obrador promised it at the end of last year that it would be ready at the end of this year. And now his latest statement says something to the effect that it will be finished before his presidential period is over. So the highway is certainly not going north if you think about it in those terms. When will it happen? Who knows? It's a typical Mexican lo que pasa. That's what it is. Lords and ladies, keep him coming. Keep him coming. I will gladly do that. More comments for lords and ladies. I love it. Let's see. Today I'm all distracted looking at Chris Evans's penis. Oh my goodness, it is beautiful, Jeffrey. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's see. Oh yes, of course. The Captain America's rebuttal to the slip is not, now that I've got your attention, vote. That's too funny. David asks, is this 6 p.m. Vallarta time? The answer is yes. I'm sorry for not being specific. 6 p.m. Puerto Vallarta time. That's when we're going to have Tequila and Headlines live. I promise I'll get a little bit tipsy just so that I can look like I'm in the spirit, but I will not get stupid tipsy. Will we be able to tune in this afternoon to see you here on Facebook? Absolutely. The pre-show announcement is already out, and I will put it out again in the show notes for this morning's broadcast. I saw a question about my car. Will my car be salvageable? You know, it's going to cost me an arm and a leg, but I am going to save the money to save my car. I probably won't be able to do that until January and February, and I feel very self-conscious talking about it because I don't want to turn that into a fundraiser for my car here at Coffee and Headlines. Here at Coffee and Headlines, the membership has everything to do with having food for Luna and making sure that we have the resources to produce this show. But ultimately, I am confident that with increasing numbers of subscribers and more work heading my way as a photographer or as a consultant as the months go by, I will be able to, get my car out of this medically or mechanically induced coma. Let's see. Keep it clean, Paco, so the rest of us can enjoy your stories and news. I get the hint. Every now and then I get a little dirty, Sherry, and that's just the nature of the beast. No offense intended. Let's see. You could sell raffle tickets for your car. I have all kinds of ideas, dog. For the time being, I'm glad that I am healthy and I have a purpose and I have my bills paid for the most part. Anyhow, that's basically it. That's what we have. That's what we have for today here at Coffee and Headlines, which gets boisterous sometimes and gets dirty sometimes and gets informative sometimes and gets the naturally musical sometimes. And some people are going to like some sections and some people are going to dislike others. Ni modo. That's the way it goes. If you enjoy the show, please stick around. If you don't enjoy the show, please stick around. If you have comments, questions, suggestions about what we do, it is always a pleasure to receive them. And as always, I welcome you to stay put, stay kind, stay happy, stay curious, and stay in touch. And hopefully, just hopefully, I will tune in this afternoon and I will see you here and I will see you again tomorrow or sometime in the near future. Have an awesome day.